In this video, we are going to be looking at HTCR. This stock is one of the leading gappers, being up around 120% as recording this. We're sitting just under $3. Now, this was on good Q1 earnings. So again, that is firstly the reason for this big move to the upside. Now what you can see is obviously did have a big push to the upside. We've now starting to pull back. We are testing VWAP. So if we can hold the VWAP, obviously, then there is a chance we break into a higher high. But what are the key levels that we really want to be paying attention to when looking at this stock? So what we can see on the left, we have a 6-month chart. On the right, we have a 1-year chart. What we can see on both of these charts, on the 6-month, which is a shorter term trend, not as clear, but we are downtrending. And you can see very clearly on the 1-year chart, we are doing a big downtrending. Even though we are hitting a 6-month and a 1-year high, this doesn't mean we are now uptrending, especially on these smaller cap stocks. These tend to be kind of temporary pumps. You can see we had it here, big push to the upside, instantly sold off. Go back, we had it again, instantly pushed up, instantly pulled down. So what we can really see is that with this stock, yes, the move is bigger, but it wouldn't be unlikely to see that same reaction. And yes, this is off a fundamental release of earnings, but does the earnings really justify a 120% move? Or, when you're up at that kind of move, 150%? Let me guess, probably not. It probably does not justify that. So how can we look to play these kind of opportunities? So what you can see is, firstly, when do we become overbought? So what you can see, the 6-month, we become very overbought at $1.85. Now, if we zoom out, we can see this is basically where we opened. And what you can see on the open is we came into this level, we tested this as a support, we held. So again, if you watch this channel, that's what we always talk about. If you come and test this deviation, you hold it and you kind of push away from it. Obviously, we're counting that as a held, and then you tend to go to that next deviational level. So yes, we are overbought above that 185, but then it really means we have to be paying attention to those next deviations, which we then have at $2. We had at $2.15, $2.65, and the $3.20. You can kind of ignore these golden lines. Actually, we can even remove them, just because these are a fifth deviation for a different thing we were looking at, but we don't really pay attention to these when we're trading normally. So those are the levels we'll dot out, and then again we can go back into an intraday chart and see how does it start to react. So again, we pull back. We're still very near VWAP. When you see these big momentum stocks, you don't want to be trading them anywhere near that VWAP, especially if you're a short burst trader. You want them extended. So again, we kind of ignore those levels as it is because we're just very close. And then we start breaking it into the 265. You can see we're quite extended. We do get a pullback opportunity. Nothing massive, but definitely an area to make money. But then we can see again, overall, we do break above it. We test it as a support. That holds. And then we continue further up. Now this is key, because where do we continue further up to? And basically an exact deviational level. So that 330 was that 4th deviation on the 1 year. Again, this is extremely overbought. So coming into these levels, again, that's where we're looking at it short bias. You can see we even retested it as a resistance. It held, which really does kind of show that more like than not, we will break below that VWAP and continue down. More likely than not, that move is finished, just because, again, we have had that retest, we failed. But what this really does show is, again, when we're coming into these deviational levels, the higher ones, we really do want to be looking at it more short bias. Again, if you are a trend trader, then or momentum trader, then you want to be catching the breaks, waiting for them to retest, and if it's holding, that's where those pop opportunities are. Now on HTCR, it doesn't have options, so to me, that instantly means it's not going to be something I trade, because I can't define that risk. So again, like me, I trade these I tend to trade these kind of momentum pops short bias. If I can't trade them short bias, meaning they have no options, I don't trade them. But I know people are still interested in what are those key levels. So again, 330 from the resistance standpoint, that is really our final resistance as well. If we go higher, again, not something I would touch at all, because we don't really have any resistances. You just have to be paying attention to the psychological level. So $4, $4.50, $5, so on. Now, the levels we have dotted out are still key, because these are high probability bounce areas still. So you can see this one I would kind of ignore, or kind of pair it with the VWAP, use it as a range, because again, they're very close together. But you can see coming into this range, we do kind of expect a temporary bounce, which we've kind of already got. But if we break lower, down to this 213. Again, we expect to see that same thing the first time we come into this level. We're looking for that bounce. So again, we don't have to be looking for an overall reversal or kind of a pullback back to this level, because in this kind of environment, I don't think we will see that, considering it's an extremely overbought stock. But these supports can be played by just kind of getting those temporary bounces off of these levels. Or again, if you're a short bias trader, you can just trade to these levels. If we break this 265, come back to test it as a resistance, there is quite a big opportunity all the way down to around 213 if you want to try and catch that short bias. Again, I would only take that as a day trade so you can somewhat control your risk, because again, there is no options. We can't exactly define it, and so to me it would be never anything I would look to swing trade. Anyway, that is the breakdown on HTCR. Let me know if you're trading it. If you want your own stock analyzed, throw that in the comments, and if you enjoyed, why not check out this analysis video.